Hello, hello, and welcome back to another round of Queen Astro's Tarot. Apologies for my bit of a departure or what have you, but I'm back, y'all, and was inspired to do this. What should you do with this not so awesome situation? And this isn't to belittle anything that anybody's going through, whether it's, any form of loss or frustration or anger or hurt. But the point being, you are in this not so awesome situation now, and you can soak in it forever, and that's not to say like don't take time to heal. But there's always something to take away from experiences, even the ones that suck really, really friggin' hard. So you can tell by my nails, like big Beetlejuice fan, and I've got some new Beetlejuice tarot, so very exciting. So we're just gonna do piles. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4. And again, this is for what are you supposed to take away or learn from this not so awesome situation. Timestamps will be below, and I will see you at your piles. Bye, all. Hello, hello. If you're here, you picked pile 1 for what should you do about this shitty situation you're in. And I pre-pulled these. We've got a mix of tarot and oracle cards. You'll have to excuse my voice, I'm a little hoarse right now, but let's just hop right into it. Pile 1. Actually, I say let's hop into it, and then I want to say something else. This isn't to belittle anything you're going through. I don't want to say that, oh, everything happens for a reason. Like, no, we're not getting into that weird sing-songy crap. This is just, yeah, I'm in a situation that kind of sucks. Now, what do I do, or what will help me move forward or learn? All right, now that my little disclaimer is over, pile 1, here we go. We're gonna start with some oracle cards. And these are pre-pulled, but not pre-looked, so let's find out together. All right, we've got delay. And that was in reverse, so I'm gonna take that as such. And then a dark-haired woman, also in reverse. And the spades, I believe, are the earth signs of pentacles, I believe. Yes, no, that's clubs. These are water. So emotions, a lot of emotional stuff going on right now. Pile 1 for you, which are like, yeah, duh, I'm here because I'm in a situation I don't care for. And that's not to belittle, again, what you're going through, but this setback, obviously, with the delay card. Oh, my dryer was just singing at me. I'm trying to think of how to say it. It's not to say like, you're supposed to learn to wait, because, oh, how annoying is that? It's more of, like, look at this card. This person is running away, and this other person seems to be like looking at them like, hey, wait. The way I'm reading this card in reverse, especially with a dark-haired woman, is maybe there's somebody that doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, but somebody who is wanting to help you through the situation, or, be there as a support. And right now, the way I'm understanding these pile 1 is that there's almost like an isolation happening of putting a delay on your own healing or ability to move through the situation, is what I'm seeing so far. Let's go, before we get into the Beetlejuice tarot cards, which I will link for Metzi. I'm going to pull, or I pulled rather, but these are from the Fuzzy Prism Oracle, just to give a little more insight into your situation. Pile 1. Time. Interesting with the delay. Okay. And then forgive. Oh, interesting. So maybe this person hurt you, even pile 1, and that this is a situation that you have found yourself in that is not so awesome. I'm trying not to say shitty, because I don't want to say it too many times on YouTube. But it sucks. You're in a sucky, crappy situation, pile 1. And maybe it's because, there was some sort of betrayal or things like that. And these two cards, I feel like eye rolling for you, pile 1. Like, time heals all wounds. And this isn't to say just like sit in your misery or sit in this awful feeling or like let them, you know, let them feel bad. That's not what this is saying at all, Pile 1, or at least not the way I'm reading it. I'm going to really quickly look at the guidebook for the Prism Oracle, but let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you so far, Pile 1. Time, cycles, mathematical rhythms, reminding us we are on Earth, a musical tune we are subconsciously moving to. What if we turned off the music? Get lost in a space with your mind, memories, and dreams, without time and limitation. What is left is your soul. Fuel your soul by letting go of constraints you have put upon yourself. Give time, patience. Wow. So remember what I was saying earlier? Like, it feels like there's like almost like an isolation or like constraint happening. Pile 1. And then with this forgive card, which obviously, like, yeah, Queen Astro means forgive. But again, it's really preaching this patience. Forgiveness of the self and having patience with your process. If you are unable to forgive, you must trust that someday that inability, will be lifted. Okay, I think that's really important. You must trust that someday the inability will be lifted. I think sometimes it's easier or more comfortable, even if it is miserable, to stay upset or mad at a situation. And again, this isn't to say like you're not allowed to grieve or be pissed or whatever, Pile 1, but I think what the cards are kind of saying for you is maybe there's a tendency to really ruminate. Focus your desire to truly want to be able to forgive, and in time you will find it has already happened. Forgiveness brings freedom, and it's the ultimate spiritual practice. All right, so obviously breaking out of this sort of cycle is definitely something the cards are suggesting to Pile 1, but let's take a look at your tarot, which I'm very stoked on. I have not used them before. I got them off Etsy, Beetlejuice Tarot, or inspired by Beetlejuice, you know, for legal reasons. Just to give a little more insight to the situation, maybe as to how to move forward or what you're supposed to take away from it. But definitely let me know in the comments if this is like hitting for you, so to speak. All right, ooh, we've got the Empress. Barbara, she is an Empress. And I swear I shuffled them like super hard, y'all. The Hierophant, I swear. So y'all getting all these big major arcana cards is very like, I feel like this is like, yes, this is a big cycle or tendency maybe, or cycle or pattern, however you want to put it. It isn't good or bad, but this situation that you're in is really wanting to call attention to it, especially with the Hierophant. Like you've got, what's his name? Otho? I forget his name in Beetlejuice. But it's funny because he's the one, quote unquote, like the Hierophant is usually like, oh, play by the rules, all that jazz. But in Beetlejuice, he kind of bends, you know, goes into the afterlife in a way that he doesn't really know how to control. And I think this is really calling Pile 1 for like a balance of like, you know, masculine and feminine energies, because you do have it within you. And I think right now, especially with, I forget his name, someone tell me, oh, it's gonna drive me cuckoo. But he's very like, oh no, I can do this, I can do that. I'm a jack of all trades, which is like very cool. And that's not to say don't be that, but there's something almost like a hubris around him. Like a wanting to be right all the time. And I don't know if it was in The Simpsons, I don't know, it was in something, but it's like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And it was like, but they said it obviously in a much funnier way. But it kind of, I was called to bring that up right now. Anyway, moving forward, Pile 1. Let's keep going. All right, we've got the Ace of Rods or the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so you're like a very, very passionate person. And if you recall from the movie film, this is one of the tricks that Barbara and, why is Al Baldwin's name? Adam tried to use to get the Dietzes out of their house. It's very silly dance that kind of doesn't really work in the way they wanted, but they had like the right idea, right? The fire, the passion was there. But then they were sort of, you know, discouraged when it didn't work. And then, you know, they go to that guy and things don't work out so well. Okay, wow. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles with Adam making his little model of the city. So pile one, especially, okay, seeing these two in conjunction as well, it's really sort of saying to me that maybe if there's something in this time as you're processing this event that you do feel, you know, passionate or inspired to do something, but then it doesn't pan out the way you wanted to, a la the dance around the dinner table in Beetlejuice. It's calling for like this perseverance. Like the idea you had was good. Just keep going at it. Like keep working at it and keep getting better and better. How this relates to your situation, I'm not sure in terms of, you know, if this is a financial situation, especially with, you know, you've got Pentacles here, but really I'm getting more of this is like an emotional burn almost that feels like happened. But you've got the Empress card too, so I really just want to stress that there is within you this innate ability to balance like, I don't want to say the good, the bad, or like the masculine and the feminine energies. Like Barbara is just like so beautiful and so caring. And I think this is just such a cool card. I really, really love this deck. But there's like a nurturing, and I think that really needs to happen to you, like for you. Like you have to nurture yourself because it can be very, very alluring, if you will, to kind of go into this pattern or this organized set of thinking you've had in the past that maybe, you know, this coping mechanism or, you know, being pissed at somebody for a long time has worked for you and helped you move forward. But the way I'm reading these cards, pile one, is there's definitely a call to kind of, you know, obviously like you're human, right? You're allowed to like be upset with people, especially if they've hurt you. You're allowed to cut out people who are toxic in your life. Like that's, you know, not to say that at all, but like to continue to hold on to it even after that, pile one, is what this is calling to get rid of. And to keep going at it, because I feel like maybe pile one, you have a tendency to be like, almost have like a really great day or two or like moment of clarity where you're like, you know what, I am ready to move forward. Like this is cool. I feel, you know, as peace as I'm going to about this situation, and I'm not letting it, you know, take over my life. But then it quickly kind of burns out when there's not like immediate feedback, if that makes sense, pile one. And the cards are really calling for you to just kind of continue working at this skill to bring this into balance. It's very interesting, pile one. All right, so for your final card, for those of you who are new, this is from the Empath Activation Oracle. It's one of my favorite decks because the art is made to sort of like activate, like sigil, the power of the card within the viewer. All right, so what did y'all get? Ooh, 44, the great year. Wow. Okay. So I love, okay, this is all making a lot, or even more rather, sense to me, pile one. So the great year is all about cycles of time, surprise. And sort of like highs and lows of like humanity as a whole, in our own little wavies within the bigger wave, if you will. And right now, you know, humanity hopefully is on an upswing. You know, this is kind of like right now we're kind of at the mid swing of somewhere, and we can kind of help dictate which way the pendulum swings based on, you know, our individual ability to remember that we're not individuals, that we are really just, you know, spirits having a human experience, if you will, pile one. But let me pull out the guidebook for this because it's so gorgeous. But definitely let me know, pile one, in the comments if this resonates with you in terms of your situation or feelings you've had surrounding it. Definitely let us know in the comments. Yeah, so this talks about like the golden age, and basically that you're an old soul. pile one. Like, you've been around the spiritual block once or a million times. And when you kind of let go, oh my gosh, just as this time card was suggesting, when you give time, when you kind of release yourself from that constraint, which I know can kind of sound weird if you're not, a meditator or something like that, but meditating is an awesome way to do it. If you're not into meditating, maybe doing dancing to trance music, like something like that, where you're able to give up the constraint of time and like even the human identity, right? Because we're spirits having a human experience, to reconnect with the solutions that you've already come across in one of your gazillions of lives. I'm going to read really quickly pile one. This incantation that the book has, which again, I'll put it in the comments so you can purchase if you want. This is great. I like using this as like a daily journal tool. Like, I'll pull a card. Anyway, that's just me. This is the invocation to enlightened times. And repeat these lines when you desire to elevate your vibration and consciousness, receive inspiration, and remember that you are a divine being in human form. Speaking this incantation will help you integrate all the changes that are occurring for you on multiple dimensions and gain access to memories of enlightened times. All right. The portal opens, I remember. The golden age ignites an ember. The fire grows within my soul, illumining sacred wisdom of old. Dormant memories awaken ablaze. I see divine enlightened days. I invoke my highest holy essence to navigate our adolescence. Raise my frequency, cleanse my field. Ignorance, fear, and doubt be healed. I embrace my cosmic mission freely. I hold the utmost loving frequency. My heart and soul in service true to a personal and planetary return to virtue. Pile one, give yourselves times to feel what you need to feel, but don't hold on to it. Don't let it get you into this pattern, this sort of, I'd rather be right and almost, destroy a house or, something precious or, cause something terrible to happen than kind of take this fiery passion, nurture it in a way that takes form in daily practice, whatever that means to you, pile one. But yes, that concludes your reading. Thank you to those of you who have already subscribed. If you haven't yet, click the button, please. It helps me make these videos and, it helps it reach people who need this at the time. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, evening, weekend, time. What is it? I just hope you are doing great forever. All right. Bye, pile one. Hello. If you are here, you picked pile two for what should you do about this real crappy situation. And I want to say, in case you skipped over the intro, pile two, this isn't to suggest that, just get over it or move on, or even to suggest that like everything happens for a reason and that sort of like sing-songy voice, because things are allowed to suck. Things are allowed to feel awful. Bad things happen. That's part of being human. But this reading is designed to kind of see how to help you either navigate getting through it or, I don't want to use like silver linings, but things you can take away from it that will benefit you in the long run. Pile two, all right? So with that disclaimer out of the way, let us hop to it. For those of you who haven't been here before, I pre-pull, but I do not pre-look, so it's a fun reveal for us all. I'm going to start with some oracle cards. We've got Trap, which is a 3 of spades, which I believe is swords, so air, I believe. And then we got, love getting this one, Angry Woman, which is, or maybe the diamonds are air. And she is pissed. All right. Pile two. I wasn't laughing at, whatever you're going through is, I don't want to belittle anything you are going through. You are allowed to feel what you want to feel. But there is this sort of feeling of you are, either this is you or, somebody else in your, whether it be work, living situation, that like you feel trapped with somebody. Like maybe it's like, you live with like a roommate who is super depressed, and this isn't, obviously to blame them. This is just an example. And they kind of lash out at you, and you're like, I don't know what to do. You won't even let me, be your friend or roommate or what, like, just something like that. Like, it feels like a situation where, or like almost, I don't know why I'm getting such strong friendship vibes. Like, it doesn't feel like a relationship, like a romantic rather vibes. Like, I'm getting like friendship vibes where like, or maybe like a close coworker vibe where there's some sort of trapped and angst thing happening. Pile 2. Definitely let me know in the comments if that's accurate for you, because I'm just really, really hearing that. But let's keep going. I'm going to look at some oracle cards from the Fuzzy Prism Oracle. Risk. Interesting. Okay. Feel that tap, tap, tap. That's one of my dogs. Nails. She refuses to let me cut them, so every day I have to just bzz them a little bit at a time. It's great. It's a almost meditative thing now. Anyway, moving along. And change. Wow, risk and change. I don't know why this just came to me, y'all, but I feel compelled to say RC. I just thought of like RC Cola, just like being like really revved up. I don't know why, so maybe that's for one person. I don't know. But I'm going to take a look at the book just because I think it's really beautiful the way the artist kind of lays everything out. But yeah, this risk and change, like it feels like almost in conjunction with these like the shitty situation is the risk of like moving on from this, like, and this change, like the backlash or outlash. I feel pile 2 is kind of what I'm hearing or seeing with this, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Risk. Take a chance. A choice is to be made. Embrace what you think is fear. We often confuse fear for excitement. Unforeseen opportunities and lessons result from taking risks. Without risk, we cannot grow toward our higher self. Yeah, so, okay, this, especially with the trap now, pile 2, like, I'm feeling like, and again, this isn't, like, if you are in an abusive or toxic situation, please get out of it. But if it's more of like I don't want to say like mundane, but like, like the situation, like where you just have like a pissy roommate, or you just have an upstairs neighbor who's always throwing parties and like mad at you if you even, play guitar at 2 p.m, sort of thing, like, is the vibe I'm getting. Maybe the risk of like breaking your lease, or, whatever this risk is you're afraid of with this change. Like, look how, I don't know if you can see, I'll bring her up to the camera. Look how peaceful this change is. Just eyes closed. And what I think is really interesting is that, the 3D reality, or, her meat eyes are closed. But their third eye is very aligned. And they're just holding up these 2 moons with very amazing nails, by the way. And just kind of owning it. Like, yep, I'll pay that. You know what? Sure, I'll eat that last half month of rent. Do I have that money right now? Nope. Am I going to figure it out because I'm losing my mind living here? Yup. Again, I don't know why I'm getting a lot of renter stuff. But that could just be an example. It doesn't mean this isn't for you. Pile 2, cuckoo, kachoo. But let's look in the book for change. If there is no change, there will be no change. Change your perspective, your attitude, or pace. Right? I know that sounds so silly, but if there's no change, there will be no change. So if you do nothing, it's gonna still be here, pile 2, it goes hand in hand with risk, sort of thing. Change is constant. Roll with it instead of walking upstream. Grow with it or else die with it. Embrace change, accept it, follow the messages from the universe. Do not fight or force your will. So maybe you've tried like to reason with this person, kind of, really empathize with them, or, do everything in your power to solve the issue through calm and clear communication, but it's just not working. And there's a time where you kind of just have to walk, like throw your hands up and walk away and, Say, Jesus, take the wheel, or, you know, whoever your thing is. Harry Styles, take the wheel. I don't know why I said him, but, you know, someone, pile two. Let's keep going. Now we're going to look at these Betelgeuse tarot cards that will maybe get a little more insight into how to navigate this kind of crappy situation. All right, we've got the World. Oh, we love her. Okay, I believe you. Got the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Pentacles upright. And then Death in reverse. Oh, how interesting that you got Death in reverse right under change. Like, to me, that's like resisting a change. And even with these, I don't know if you're familiar with the film Beetlejuice, but this is in the closet, like when Adam and Barbara go to visit the underworld and be like, we don't know what to do now that we're dead. And they open a door and it's a closet with like all these kind of moaning and very lost souls. And a maintenance worker comes by and explains like, oh, those are for demons that were exorcised or, you know, expelled. So like this is dead for the dead. And I think dead for the dead is a good way of saying change, because if you're not changing, if you're not growing, you're dying in a weird way. Like, no, you know what I'm saying, pile two. But I think this is really calling, say that like maybe there's some resistance you're feeling in terms of moving out of this situation. The King of Cups in reverse too, I think is pretty interesting, pile two. Because we've got Beetlejuice here, you know, he is being the tea cup, I guess, that the dad, the Dietz, is about to dunk into. And he's kind of like, doop, doop, doop. Like, the dad is kind of like, not always, just emotionally aloof, just because he's kind of like in his own little world sort of thing. But in reverse, the King of Cups can also refer to emotional manipulation. So maybe that's what you feel like you're experiencing. Like maybe this person or situation, like threatening things. Like if you were to walk out, like for example, if it's a roommate thing and you're threatening to, you know, exit at least early, like I'll sue you, or like, you know, I'll never be your friend again, or like, you know, somebody's doing something like that or worse. Like again, I'm getting this sense of being trapped. But with the King of Pentacles, there is something you can do, like in the material world, is what I'm kind of getting with, you know, because Pentacle, Earth, that you can do to not necessarily alleviate, but move forward through this kind of hellscape. And it's almost like saying, like, there's a generosity in cutting off this person's behavior. Like, because if you continue to enable it, you're going to be pissed. They're not going to change. And it could be in a nice fun. You'll be in like a fun pattern forever. By fun, I mean crappy. But you have the World pile too. Like, what a beautiful card. Even with, you know, Snake Beetlejuice looming in the background. It's a card of completion. It's like, yeah, you've done this whole circle before. And at this, like, if you keep doing it, you're going to start eating your own tail. So, like, let yourself go. Like, let yourself out of this situation, whatever that means for you, pile two. Like, get out. And if this isn't a situation you can escape, quote unquote, like if you're like, I lost somebody, like, how do I escape that? Or, you know, if yours is a little heavier, if you will, I think it's similar in the sense that you have to allow yourself, like, there's going to be a risk of, like, you know, if you're grieving, like, oh, what if I go out tonight and I just burst into tears? It's okay. you know, you can always go home. Like, you know, don't isolate or don't trap yourself. Like, obviously, again, take time to grieve, but don't kind of hold yourself hostage almost, is what I'm getting. Pile two, or even, you know, with the death in reverse, like woulda, coulda, shoulda situations isn't going to help you. I'm definitely interested if this is resonating with y'all. We are going to close your reading with the Empath Activation Oracle deck. And for those of you who are new, I'll explain it really quickly. It's like one of my favorite decks because the artwork is designed to, you know, invoke the power of the card within you. So let's see what y'all got. 15, mental discipline. This reminds me of one of those, actually I've been looking, I want to get some, like those spirograph things where, you know, it's like a little plastic Tracy thing, and you put your pencil in and you twirl it around and it gives you different designs, different fractal patterns, if you will. Pile two. But with this is mental discipline, especially with this trap thing. It's like telling yourself that even if you are like, you feeling like emotionally manipulated, or like this person's threat might like actually be like a reason for you to not move forward, it's having this mental stoicism, for lack of a better term, to be like, nope, 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 like la la la. This isn't to say like, oh, you know, turn your blinders to a friend in need or anything like that. But again, if you're in a trapped sort of toxic situation, it's reminding you that like you can do this, and you need to, in a sense. But let me look at the book to give you some more clarification, pile two. If you can, while I'm flipping through, like, comment, subscribe, helps my channel grow, and I appreciate you, and those of you who have already done it. All right, my spiel is done. Yes, okay. Numerous human cultures place high regard on the mind in terms of intellect, brain power, and intelligence, right? Like, you know, brain or book smart, or, you know, academic pedigree, if you will. This has led many to falsely elevate the value of the mind, and consequently all things left brain over everything else, including the heart. Beloved, this is actually backward. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. It is not meant to lead. Its direction comes from the heart, your passion, your sole purpose, your cosmic mission, and your vision, right? So like your heart is telling you one thing, like, oh, I need to get out of this thing, or this, I want this, I wanted this, but then you're maybe like in your head, like, but then they're gonna be mad at me, but then this. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Pile two. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. But mental discipline doesn't mean like, you know, you have to be like a heartless jerk either, or like, you know, in terms of like the way you move forward. Like it's about making space for yourself, if that even makes sense. Meditation can be super helpful for you at this point. I really like to do walking meditations, like especially if you feel like really like razzed up, pile two. But really from this not so awesome situation, it's kind of pile two I'm getting is being able to trust this feeling that you're feeling, that like this doesn't feel good, and have the mental fortitude to walk away from it, to know that by walking away you are actually doing a service to whoever is on the other side of it, so to speak. Yeah, and that's where I'm going to conclude your reading, pile two. I hope it brought you some clarity or insight to your situation. I'm sorry you're going through something. It sucks, and I hope things will get better because they just gotta, right? All right, that is all I have for y'all. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you next time. Bye, pile two. Hello, hello. If you are here, you pick pile three for what should you do, or what are you supposed to take away from this kind of crappy situation you're in, which I'm sorry that you're in it. Let's hop into it. Oh, actually, I lied. Before I hop into it, I do want to say this isn't to dismiss anyone's feelings. You're allowed to feel upset, angry, pissed off at the world, because there are a lot of things to be pissed off about. Having said that, you're in this situation, and maybe there's not a way to reverse it or take things back, but there is a way to move forward. And hopefully this reading, or the way this reading is designed to work is to kind of help you navigate through said situation. All right, with that pile 3, let's hop to it. We're going to start with some oracle cards. And just for those of you who haven't been here before, please subscribe. But also I pre-pull, but I don't pre-look, so it's a fun reveal for all of us. All right, we've got impediment. If you see this character, they kind of look like, what? It almost looks like it's something that they see on the sign is like, saying like, sorry, the circus is canceled. And you're like, but I just traveled like a bazillion miles to get here. If you hear that tapping, also pile 3, that is my dog. Has very long nails and refuses to let me cut or file them. But we're working on it. And then we got thought, gadonk. Okay, so interesting. Pile 3, the kind of overall vibe I'm getting for y'all, if this situation is definitely one of the heart, and with these 2 figures kind of facing away from each other, it feels like something isn't lining up, right? Like you, like thought or gadanka, like there's almost like an expectation that something was going to happen, particularly like, I don't know why I'm getting, it doesn't have to be love vibes. It can be, you know, just something you're very, very passionate about and love. But I am getting big romantic vibes. Just with the masculine and feminine energies, not saying you have to resonate with either or both or any of those, but you know, they're facing the opposite direction, which to me, and she is like kind of like looking wistfully, and this guy's like, ah, crap. Yeah, almost like something, it almost feels like, and this isn't to belittle your situation, pile 3 at all, but like almost like the point of rom-com where the girl sees the guy with another girl, and she's like, oh no, and it's like a huge misunderstanding, or you know, something like that, where like a shot to the heart, if you will. But let's keep going. Definitely let me know if this resonates with you, pile 3. We're going to do some fuzzy prism oracle before we get to your Beetlejuice tarot. All right, we've got ask. I'm not going to do these in reverse. I just do them right side up. And then listen. Interesting that you got like an isolated eye and an ear, which I'm like equating with, you know, obviously our physical abilities to sense, you know, sight and hearing. So I feel like there was something maybe even like you heard through the grapevine or something that like really threw you off. Like, especially if, I don't know why I'm getting this, like if you're really into manifesting or anything like that, like something that like really just went in the opposite direction of what you wanted, like almost just super devastating, pile 3. Yeah, and I'm sorry. That's really frustrating. But let me, sorry, my hand just jumped in here. I realized I stopped the camera really quickly because one of my dogs was begging me for food. So apologies. But I'm going to look at the Fuzzy Prism Oracle really quickly, pile 3. But let me know in the comments if this is, if your situation falls in this category. And this isn't to say if this, you know, isn't resonating with you like explicitly about romance, like it could still apply to you, or there might be a different pile. But ask. It's okay to ask for help. We are imperfect human beings. Ask for guidance through prayer or simply by talking to the universe. Build a selfless relationship with your goddesses by asking how to best serve them or it. How can you be useful? Ooh. Let me pause really quickly, y'all. How can you be useful on this earth? Ask to seek knowledge, constantly seek. Be aware of selfish motives when asking the stars for guidance. Interesting. And then listen says, the more I speak, the less I know. Beware of offering unsolicited advice. Instead, listen and be a friend to others. Pause, meditate, and listen for messages from the universe. Messages especially of the ways that you may be useful to others today. Listening to the facts before assuming. Gather information, learn, be teachable. Very interesting. Whoa. And then even in, okay, I'm thinking, because even in the guidebook, under the ear, it also says ask, and you got ask and listen. So this might be This is very interesting because I don't know why I've got like manifesting on the mind, or if somebody's really manifesting really hard in this collective or, you know, group of people, but there's almost this like idea of like gossip, or I don't even like say like you like being in like the will they won't they mode or whatever, but there's almost like an inability to trust outside of your senses or the limited senses. Like maybe you just saw, you know, an Instagram story and you're like, I don't know that other person in my booze, you know, story. Who the heck is that? But this is really like calling for you to, whatever the situation is, pile 3, to listen, especially to others, and maybe without this like, sort of, I'm getting almost like damning motive, or motive to like be like, I knew it, like almost like self-fulfilling prophecy, or I don't know. Let's keep going, pile 3. I'm very intrigued. Definitely let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. And especially what I think is interesting too, I've had to like, the other cards so far, 1 and 2, or piles rather, I've not had to pause. I just like filmed straight through, and there's been like a couple interruptions here. So it feels like almost like happening, at least maybe like internally, in terms of like wanting to believe what you see and hear and being upset about it, or, you know, being in this like thoughtful mode almost. But let's go into the Beetlejuice Tarot and get a little more clarity on your not so awesome situation, pile 3. All right, we've got the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Right, okay, so this is when he's trapped in his like little, you know, model, and he can't get out. There's almost like a possessiveness that like, the more he begs, I don't know if you're familiar with Beetlejuice, but you know, movie's like 34 years old, watch it. He's stuck in the model, and somebody needs to say his name 3 times to get out, but the more like he yells and screams and like begs people to, or tries to like antagonize them, the less people actually do it. So there's almost like this sort of like perverse possessiveness, or like this crying out that's kind of not working very well is what I'm getting with this. But let's keep going. Okay, yeah, 3 of Swords in reverse. Very interesting. So yeah, definitely like I'm thinking something of the heart. Like maybe even, yeah, like if you were, you know, trying to be with somebody and you found out, like, again, it kind of goes with like, there's somebody else. There's a lot of like, I'm almost getting like, getting snippets of information and then assuming a whole story to your detriment, pile 3. And that's what this ask and listen is really asking you to do, is to not just, you know, go off of glimpses and react and be like, what the heck, like, because circus closed. He's like, what? Like, what if that was an old sign? Like, that was a handwritten sign. We don't know. You know, like, there's other explanations maybe to what's going on, is what I'm sort of hearing, pile 3. But let's keep going, especially with this in reverse. Like this 3 of Swords in reverse tells me like it's more like internal as opposed to like outside of you, quote unquote. Let's keep going. 7 Pentacles in reverse. Oh, we love. Yeah, and okay, so this character, you know, Catherine O'Hara's character, who's amazing. She's like very concerned about how she looks to others, and, you know, has a certain way she wants to present herself. And it doesn't always work in her favor, right? Like that need for control, that need to like be like, have the immediate story right away is like kind of her downfall in a way. That makes sense. Wow. Okay, this is awesome, pile 3. Because then you get the Ace of Swords, which, like, what an uplifting, awesome card to get under listen. It's like once you're able to kind of still yourself and listen, whatever that means. And that doesn't mean like, oh, maybe it does mean like hearing the other person's side. Maybe it means just sitting with yourself and hearing what else you have to say besides I'm really pissed off or heartbroken or mad about this. Like, what else can you hear? Before assuming and like taking on an entire sort of archetype, if that makes sense. Pile 3. Because with this Ace, it's all about like breakthrough, clarity, and like having this sharp mind. So once you give yourself that space, pile 3, you're going to be able to, you know, move forward in whatever that means to you. Very interesting. But we're going to end your reading with the empath activation oracle card that I drew for y'all. For those of you who are new here, I love this deck. I'll link it because the art is designed to activate the card powers, so to speak, within the viewer. So let's see what you got. Unconformity, 22. Okay, now I know y'all are manifesting because 22 is definitely master manifestor number. But look at that balance, but like also like, you're like, what the hell does that mean, Queen Astro? There's like a concentrated laser. You know, lasers are very difficult to make. Like the, you know, ask any nerd, the Death Star, you know, the little weapon it has wouldn't exist. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking gibberish and go to the book. Definitely let me know, pile 3, in the comments if this is resonating with you. Yeah. Beloved soul, your life is taking a quantum leap forward. This type of sudden advance can feel disorienting and leave one mystified and reeling, right? That impediment, that like what the heck happened? It is as if you woke up from a dream and nothing around you is recognizable or familiar. We assure you that this period of uncertainty and quickening will pass and you will adapt. Everything you love and value is still with you. Everything you hold dear will abide. Your dreams are not abandoned. Relax into the spinning and know you are absolutely equipped to handle this dimensional jump into hyperspace. Your spiritual team is guiding and supporting you every step of the way. This is very interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay. What was I saying earlier about like just taking a tiny aspect and then, you know, running with the story? Literally, y'all, in this book, it says, during this accelerated period of expansion, it is advised that you don't, quote unquote, dig in to any particular position, perspective, location, or vocation. Your home, in all interpretations, physical, bodily, energetic, has been picked up by this metamorphic tornado, and it is unclear exactly where you will be set down. Though seemingly paradoxical, know that you are safe, whole, and intact while you are upgrading, converting, and transfiguring. Dang, y'all. I'm going to leave you on that because I think it's pretty powerful. Thank you to all you who have watched this and who've liked, commented, subscribed. Please do that as well. I really hope that this did bring you some clarity or insight to your situation. Just because it sucks to go through sucky things, but y'all, we all have to do it every now and again, don't we? So I wish you all the best. Again, please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. And until next time, I will see you next time. Bye, pile 3. Hello. If you're here, you picked pile 4 for what you were supposed to learn and or take away from this shitty situation. I do want to do a little disclaimer before hopping in. This isn't to say your feelings aren't valid about whatever you're going through, because they are. This isn't to say just, you know, just get over it, or to be like every shitty thing has a reason, because I think that can kind of be toxic and weird, and not weird the good way. So more than anything, pile 4, this is to be like, yeah, you're in a sucky situation and sorry, but let's see what we can do to move forward or heal or grow from said not so awesome situation. And for those of you who are new here, please subscribe. But also, just, you know, I pre-pull, but I do not pre-look. So this is as much of a reveal for you, for me rather, as it is for you. We're going to start with some oracle cards. And we've got infantilism, or infantilism. I talk real good. You hear that little tap, tap, tapping? That's one of my dogs. Her nails are very long, and we're working on cutting them. She's just not very trusting of me. Anyway, moving on. Oh, a dark-haired man. Ein braunhaariger Mann. So, looking at these two, it feels like maybe there's somebody in your life where this shitty or sucky thing has to do with some sort of immaturity, it almost means like this, like a sickness almost. And when I see a dark-haired man, I think maybe this has been within a relationship, and that doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, romantic. It can be work. It can be a roommate, or some sort of like somebody who used to almost maybe be helpful, or maybe was helpful in ways. And again, this doesn't have to be a man. It could be somebody with like more masculine energy, regardless of gender. But something about, I'm getting this shitty situation, whatever it is for y'all. Something about it maybe used to be helpful, but now there's sort of something, not even seeping, maybe something that's been there for a while, and maybe it's just like starting to like, you know, it's the roots have been taking for a while is what I'm kind of hearing pile for, but like now it's just starting to sort of show, you know, because I don't know if you can see in this card exactly, but this child is crying over a dog that appears to be deceased. So again, with that illness, it's like almost like we didn't know. How do we not know? Like, but it's actually been seeping for so long. So maybe there's been a situation for you, pile 4, where, you know, again, it doesn't have to be like romantic relationship. It's some sort of dynamic with you and another person or a group that was like good and helpful at one point, but now like something else is seeping into it that is not helpful. Yeah, let's get some more clarity around this pile 4. And honestly, this could also, maybe you are, you know, you have actually, you know, just recently lost an animal or someone else in your life, and I'm terribly sorry if that is the case. And if that is the case, the good news is there might actually be somebody coming in for help that is helpful. But I feel like for the majority of people, at least the vibe I'm getting is this more like something that used to be helpful but is no longer helpful. Definitely let me know if that means anything for y'all. But next we're going to look at pile 4, the fuzzy prism oracle cards that I pulled for y'all. Okay, we've got rest. Oh, okay, interesting. And perspective. Okay, I love both these cards. What I think is interesting about this rest card, pile 4, is that all the eyes are closed. You know, usually this artist, I'll link them below. But sometimes, like, you know, the 3D eyes are open, sometimes the third eye's open. But this is like kind of like shut it all down. So maybe you've been really in your head about something or trying to be helpful in a way, like especially if you're in manifesting, like this is telling you to take a step back for sure. Like if you've been trying to alleviate the situation, take a step back for sure and just give yourself some rest, because if you just fixate on a problem, it's going to stay there. Like, you know, like not thinking about it for 1 minute is going to be okay. But let's look at I want to look at the guidebook pile 4 for this oracle deck, but let me know in the comments if this is making any sense to y'all. Rest. To allow yourself to be at ease. This mental calm will bring positive energy to your day and to others. Find relief, seek tranquility. It is essential for mental, physical, and spiritual repair. We must recharge so we can bring forth a kind and loving version of ourselves. Yeah, so maybe this is about stepping away from whatever this pattern or group or person is for a while, whatever that means to you, to gain this sort of perspective. Because right now, especially with like all these like little goopy circles around this head, it feels like you've just been so in it that it's like, even with like the best intentions right now, things aren't going to be helpful. You need to step out of that for a little bit, whatever that means. But let's look at perspective to really gain some clarity and perspective. Pile 4. Because yeah, maybe this is something where you're like, wow, like I'm really realizing there's a lot that isn't working in this friendship or relationship or dynamic, but I do want to make it work. you spinning your wheels over and over isn't going to help it. You need to step back for some perspective. Whether it's, for good or just to, come back with a clearer mind. Perspective. You can change your perspective at any moment. When you see a dandelion, do you see a weed or a wish? That's beautiful. Be respectful, also of other people's perspectives. Practice tolerance and do so without injecting your personal beliefs, motives, and opinions. Challenge or opportunity. That is really, really beautiful. Yeah, so maybe you are somebody who's like, oh, well, if I take a break or I step away, that's just soft quitting and then things are going to fall downhill. Give yourself that challenge. Be like, no, this is a challenge for me to look at this from a new way, to step back and take care of myself for a little bit, and to be able to come at this with like a clearer focus. Pile 4. So what I think is really interesting too is with this is like the angles you can kind of see, like they're looking down, this eye is looking down, but then it kind of refracts out, right? That's what's called refract when light bends. So give yourself that different perspective. Let the light refract, baby. All right, pile 4, but let's keep going. Definitely, again, let me know in the comments if this resonates for you. Next, we are going to take a look at, it's showtime, your Beetlejuice, or inspired by Beetlejuice, tarot cards. So let's see what they have for you, pile 4. Justice. Okay, I think this is so interesting, like especially in conjunction with perspective. Like to get that balance, you need to step away. Ooh, the Lovers. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Big old vibes here, pile 4. King of Rods or the King of Wands. And then the 4 of Rods in reverse. Okay. Okay, it's so funny too, pile 4, because I really don't lay these out like in the same way over and over for every pile. I just kind of do them as I see fit. And I think it's so interesting here. It's like giving yourself this rest and perspective will literally bring this balance to this justice, to this relationship or to the situation that's not going in your favor right now. But here under like this, the infantilism, or it's not infantilism, it means like sickness or illness. So I keep, anyway, just to be clear, in a dark-haired man, or this helpfulness, there's this sort of maybe like fiery passion you have where, you're ready to try new things and to, move forward in reclaiming your territory, whatever that means to you. Like, Adam and Beetlejuice, this is one of the things he's like, I'm going to do this and scare the deets out of my house. But this sort of almost naivety, or like this thinking that if I'm always pushing forward, if I'm always going, as long as I'm always doing something, then I can say I did my best. Then I can, at least, if worst case scenario, I'm walking away from this situation or whatever this means for you, pile 4, then at least I know at least I can say I did my best. But like, maybe that keeps happening because like with the 4 of Rods in reverse, the 4 of Wands, usually there's like a very lovely, beautiful, we have it all sort of card. But in reverse, especially with this, like no exits, like you're stuck in this sort of purgatory is what you're really doing to yourself by like remaining in a cycle. And here, like, oh, the Lovers and Justice, you've got, yeah, Adam and Barbara. And what's interesting with this Lovers card is like, this is when they're, recalled by the living people and they're not really in control here. And maybe that's kind of how you feel, or that's the scary thing to you is like the feeling of not being in control, right? As evidenced by this sort of cycle. But this rest, this giving yourself that space is going to bring some balance, like this justice. I love this character. She's very, she's like, I'm forgetting her name, but she's their guide through the underworld. And she's a very tired, bureaucratic employee. But she gives it straight because, at the end of the day, everyone's going through the same thing, whether you like it or not. I mean this with all in my heart. You're not special. I'm not special. but we're all special, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this, like, balance and justice. It's like, you don't need to keep yourself in this hardship, like, oh, no, but if I don't do this, I don't know, I keep getting that, like, but if I don't do that, then it's all going to fall apart. Then no, that's not it at all. And, like, the Lovers is also a card of choice. So, like, you can make the choice not to. You can stay here if you want, pile 4. That is your prerogative, but I'm really just kind of getting this, to navigate this kind of crappy situation, is to really just step away from it if, possible, or as much as possible. And if you don't have that ability, like, say you're living with somebody who's really grinding your gears or whatever, do something that will allow you to regain perspective, like take a walk, like do something you can do find something you can do to take your mind off it, so you aren't always like kind of mulling over it. That's what I'm getting, pile 4. Yeah, definitely let me know if this resonates. We are going to end your reading with one of my favorite decks, the Empath Activation Oracle. I always explain it when I use this, so for those of you who are new, I will do it right now. The thing I like about this deck is that the art is made to activate, or is designed to activate, the energy of the card within you. So let's see what we pulled for you, pile 4. Remember. Ooh, I don't know if I've pulled this one before, to be honest. It's really pretty. It almost looks like DNA. I'm gonna take a look at the book for this one. Because here I was saying, like, give yourself a reason to step back, and then it's like, remember. But let's see, pile 4, what the book says, because I feel like remembering isn't the same as holding on to something. And we remember things we forget. So if you're ruminating, you really didn't forget it, right? You don't need to remember it. So what do we need to remember, pile 4? What do we need to remember? Remember your cosmic origins, beloved child of the stars. Your soul predates human civilization. In your etheric field lies the memory of who you are and all you've been. Let it whisper now to your heart and awaken the dormant codes of light you choose to carry in your light body. Remembering who you are is an act of remembering, putting back together the members of your body electric. A synonym of the word remember is recollect. Recollect. It means to collect your essence, wisdom, power, lessons, healing, and experiences from all over the galaxy and assemble them at one point in the space-time grid, right? Let's get back this perspective. This one point is you. Remember yourself back into being. Pull your complete essence through all dimensions of time and space to fully embody the powerful creative being that you are meant to be. If you've drawn this oracle, know that it is absolutely safe for you to embody your full self, your full life force, and your full purpose, right? So it's like, it's safe for you to go out and regain this perspective, like, because right now I feel like there's like a sliver of you here. And stepping away and allowing yourself to be whole and full again is really going to help you through the situation. I'm getting pile 4. Arise, sacred being of light, and shine your brilliance upon the world. All right, I'm really quickly going to give you the incantation of remembering. Maybe you can use this if you are feeling, particularly down. I draw my ancient lifetimes forward. The call to rise I've clearly heard. I command my body to remember, gather my fire from all past embers. Through the cosmic portal of space and time, I integrate the wisdom mine. I collect myself from all dimensions, assembling now with clear intention. I activate my cellular body and open the door to my soul's library. Awaken the blueprint of my mission. Give me courage to walk my vision. My light is needed on this planet. I freely chose to shine upon it. It is safe again to show my face. I live my life with love and grace. All right, with that, pile 4, this concludes your reading. I'm sorry you're going through a shitty situation. Unfortunate part of the whole human experience, and I hope that this reading gave you some clarity or insight as to how you can move forward, learn, heal, and or all of the above. And I'm wishing you so many more better days ahead. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed. If you haven't, please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. It helps my channel grow and helps me make more of these. And I just knocked my light by accident. Apologies. Until next time, I will see you next time. Bye, pile 4. Bye.